of ensuring that that money is returned to the coffers, because then there's also the question of after they've been found, then what? But let's look at another story on page 7 of the Standard, and this is to do with the sugar that has come up again, and twist in sugar import saga. Now, Joint House seeks to know why companies blacklisted by Parliament in 2013 was allowed to import 35,000 metric tons of sugar. Professor, again, this is a question of bad manners where a company has already been blacklisted, but somehow finds its way and brings in 35,000 metric tons of sugar.
That is the problem of having mediocre ministers. Kenya is at the brink of collapse because of the constitution. The new constitution is good, but there are some parts of the constitution that are not very good. We would have gone for a situation whereby if Balak Muluka is elected as a member of parliament from Wisero, he should be appointed and is appointed as a minister. He should be directly accountable to parliament by answering questions in parliament. But when we come outside the periphery and then start appointing people from the lunar world, people like Rotich, who will come in and without proper regulations, they come in and do as they want. Lobby, you get lobbyists like Rai. This man has not even been taken to court. Rai, I'm talking of Rai Ply. That Kalasinga man. The Gupta situation in South Africa, a man who has captured the government, a man who cannot even mention his name, and I'm mentioning it, and I'm asking the president and the deputy president, why is Gupta not in jail? Why has he not been arrested? And
you're a lawyer. Yeah, I would imagine that there's a procedure that is followed.
It's not a procedure. The man is the most corrupt person. He has captured this government. Yeah, if you look at the issues of the Western sugar mills and the way bags of sugars have been found in his Webuye, whatever, the man is a crook, is a thief, and the man should be in jail. Why President Uhuru Kenyatta and his people are leaving this man to be at large? We don't know. Let's not go for these guys. Why? Where is this man? He has been lobbying.
Professor, as a senior counsel and a lawyer, I imagine that there are certain procedures that will be followed. And you, as a Kenyan, have every right even to take him to court. Now that you seem to have a lot of evidence that you could maybe bring to the table.
Why would I take a man who has captured the state? A man who has taken the state at ransom, a man who has lobbyists who lobby for him to come out with this issue of importation of sugar, the window period that was given where the president was saying that because of drought, let us have this, and then the man comes in. And have you read this story that was covered in the Daily Nation the other day? Mm-hmm. That's the biggest crook next to Gupta in the whole world. But let me come to the point. Even the people who are actually calling these other two Indians to come to task, I mean, to elaborate on what was going on. If you look at the composition of that group on agriculture, you know what happened? When the likes of Alfred Keter were elected, the member of parliament for Embakasi North, came in, Honorable Gakuya, they had to be removed because they knew that something was in the cooking. Why is this country at this particular level? Mr. President, I'm addressing you. Please, let Gupta be taken in by Kinoti in court today.
All right, Barak Muluka, your thoughts on the twists and turns of the sugar saga?
It goes back to the 1970s. We remember something called the Duncan Legua Commission. And we remember that the big debate at that time was on whether people in government should do business. And the Legua Commission gave that freedom for them to do business. If you look at Ray Ply and his companies, you look at who his business partners are, they're people who are right at the heart, if not the head of government. We have seen the images of them seated, some of them wearing turbans like him, next to him, behaving as if they are Sikhs, and they are the fellows behind the sugar. Who owns shares in Reply? The president should answer that. Perhaps that is where the lifestyle auditor should begin. Lifestyle means, among other things, who are your friends? Who are the fellows you hang around with because it is part of your life? Who are the people you have invested with? Who are the members of your family who have invested? And there's a sense in which even this whole sugar thing is diversionary. We are not even hearing about the second NYS scandal any longer. There's a sense in which it's buried under the memory of sugar, maize, and so on and so forth. There was supposed to be a meeting today of Jubilee legislators to wrap their minds around some of these concerns, and we can see that it has been conveniently taken away. So when they say that there's a night runner troubling people around, and you go out and you find the night runner is your father, do you tell the world that my father is the night runner?
He's the night runner. Ndugu Githenji, your thoughts on this? You have been in Parliament, and you can see how things are panning out on this particular sugar industry. There are also those who possibly have said, like Barack, that it's diversionary. We are somehow not forgetting, but the NYS saga has also been left to the back burner, despite the fact that there were some glaring questions that, were left out of it.
Well, I think the fact that maybe the NYS saga, or even the maize, or the other ones which are lurking in the background are not in the media today, is really a factor of the media's interest in topical issues at the current time. I don't think it means at all that the institutions which are tasked with investigation and prosecution have stopped. I think that, to my mind, would be a shame if it has, and if it has, then the media again has a responsibility to highlight, bring to the public's attention that there's no progress on certain fronts and restart it. But at the same time, to be fair to the president, he said, look, people are banding about my brother. If he is guilty, he will face the law. He said that?
Yes.
He said that. He was very clear.
He should now walk the talk.
Well, you see, it's not for him to do the investigation. They should allow...
It is for him. He should set up a judicial commission.
And there are institutions that are in place that are meant to be doing that. Because again, you'd be the same people who will accuse him of interfering.
They are all compromised. You look at the ASCC, we even thought that with our good Archbishop in charge, there was going to be some difference. There isn't. You look at Parliament.
But surely, how do we blame the president for that? Yet there are institutions that are in place.
The president has got the legal basis and platform to institute a proper judicial commission of inquiry, and people have been talking about this for some time. He knows that an inquiry of a commission of inquiry of this kind, headed by possibly a judge of the Supreme Court or somebody of the Willy Mutunga caliber, would be able to dig deep into these things and get us, at the very minimum, to know who is involved with these things. But sometimes when you see that the inroads are going to end up where you are.
At your doorstep.
I think it may be too early for a judicial, commission of inquiry, and I think there certainly are questions that are being asked of EACC's capacity and capability. That there is no doubt, and I wouldn't defend. I mean, the questions being asked, but I have seen a re-energization of the office of the DPP and a re-energization of the DCI. Let's give them a bit of time and see where they're going to take these current investigations that have now been brought to the fore, and see if they take it to the logical conclusion. The only real question would remain, with particular regard to this sugar. We saw the Gazette notice. We saw the window that was opened, that allowed duty-free importation. To my mind, as a legislator and as a Kenyan, I mean, what are you doing to your own economy when you allow that kind of importation of sugar? And there's no limitation. There's just a blanket opening of the importation. And this allows people to bring in, millions of tons of sugar. What does that do to your local industry? What does that do to farmers? What does that do to, to the smallholder who relies on this commodity for his subsistence and maintenance of his family? I mean, that kind of comprehensive thinking, looking end to end at the consequences of your actions. I think that part is a bit lacking.
And one might wonder whether really it is the fact that they're not thinking end to end, or it is driven by a very selfish motive where there are individuals who actually benefit and gain from those kind of imports. Professor, maybe your wrapping thoughts on that as we finish on the dailies.
I would like Dwale to come up with the names of those who import sugar. The man has come out twice. He said he knew of people who killed people in Garissa. He has never mentioned them. He has also come up with a proposition that he knows those who have been importing sugar. He has not been mentioning them. Why is he preempting the whole thing every time such a thing comes out? Yet we know his companies. We know his family. And the audit thing, as Mheshimiwa here said, without going into nitty-gritties, we should also look at the aims of the Al-Qaeda tactics. Have they changed their tactics from bombing people, by bringing in poisoned sugar, by lobbying those politicians, big-ear politicians, who come up with a proposition and misadvise the president that there's no sugar in the country, we should have a free window period so that he can bring it. Why do we have security problems in Northeastern Province? Why is KDF, who has been mentioned, to be involved, especially from Kismayo, where lorries are coming in from the Northern Corridor? There are some questions that somebody's not talking about.
All right. I think we'll take a short break right now, and it is just about 6 minutes to 7 o'clock. We want to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Political Point. But this is the point where I would like to also release our KTN home viewers for Life and Style to begin. On KTN News, we take a short break. We'll be right back. But let's wind up with a look at the traffic. And I believe this is Kenyatta Avenue roundabout, where traffic seems heavy, but it is flowing. We take that break. We'll be right back.